What is the best e-bike tire? Well, it depends on what you want to do, but I mean, you want to prioritize robustness for an e-bike tire. You don't really care about weight. Now, this bike manufacturers have a knack of putting terrible tires on their bikes, and most people don't know anything about tires, so they just keep them on there. Like this one had gravel tires, Schwalbe G1 all-rounds, 2.35 inch, and it was basically touching that, so it was rubbing paint off, and it was like someone in the marketing department thought that this would be the kind of bike that people would ride rail trails with, and which that tire was totally inappropriate for commuting, hardcore commuting. So this is my second bike. My first bike looked exactly like this. It was exactly the same bike. So I bought the Schwalbe Marathon Supreme, which is lighter than these tires, and they were really good tires. They did about 13,200 kilometers before the bike was stolen, and they got two punches on the back tire, one at 2,000 kilometers and the other at 6,000, and so then I swapped them around, and they never got a puncture from then on in, and they were about 480 grams each, so they're pretty light for e-bike for touring tires. So, but then when I bought the new bike, the previous owner only done 759 kilometers, so he had the original tires on, which I pretty much got rid of from the get-go. And my first one I bought, now, so you might be confused, this is what's called the Schwalbe Energiser Plus. That's the Schwalbe Energiser Plus, if you didn't hear that into the microphone, too far from the microphone. Now, the Energiser Plus is not the same as this tire. It's not the same as the Schwalbe Marathon E Plus. That tire is the most punch-resistant tire, according to rollingresistance.com, that you can buy. It's the most punch-resistant touring bike tire. I couldn't find a Marathon Supreme in 2-inch. I could only find them in 1.6 inch, and so I wanted them to be at least 2-inch, but not much more. And so I bought that on the premise that it was had only a little bit extra rolling resistance. Now this, even though it's the most punch-resistant tire, the E Plus, is not actually the highest rolling resistance. It's the Vittoria Randonneur has the highest rolling resistance, which is the second most punch-resistant tire. So, for those of you not familiar with the Schwalbe Marathon range, the premise of the Marathon range is that underneath the rubber, there's a layer of Indian latex rubber. Now, this rubber here is what's called butyl rubber. Now, butyl rubber is synthetic. It's made from petroleum products, and natural rubber, or latex, is made from the sap from rubber trees. So latex will stretch 700% more with the same before breaking than butyl. So the Indian latex rubber is extremely soft, but the premise is that it enables the tire to have lower rolling resistance than what it otherwise would have than if it was just straight one type of rubber. So it can be very fixed. So you can have the theory behind that one there is that one has also a double layer of it also has a double protective layer underneath it. So the E Plus and the Energiser Plus have both the same tread. So I bought the Energiser Plus and I ran it for maybe 5,000 kilometers. and I think I got 1 or 2 punches on the Energiser Plus, but then I decided to just try out the E Plus because I was a little bit worried I might make the bike, because people complain about how heavy it feels, but so I bought one just to put on the back, and I didn't notice it. But if you do increase rolling resistance on the e-bike, you will slightly reduce your range. So that's why I always keep it pumped up to 65 psi to reduce rolling resistance. But yeah, the E Plus, I've had that for maybe 3,500 kilometers, no punches so far. And that tire there, this tire, the Energiser Plus, is so far done. I would have done around well over 9,000 kilometers. So that's what 9,000 kilometers looks like. Well, there's a little cut, and this is done well over 3,000 kilometers. So if you just want punch resistance, and you also don't want the slowest tire, this is the tire to get. Schwalbe Marathon E Plus, not to be confused with the Schwalbe Energiser Plus. They look similar. What's the difference? Well, the difference is that this one has a 3mm layer of Indian latex rubber, whereas the E Plus has a 5mm layer of Indian latex rubber, and it has a double protection layer, like a probably high density nylon. I can't remember what Schwalbe call it, which increases it, so it's got a protective layer. Now, the thing is, the rubber itself does actually give good punch resistance, because I remember years ago I met a guy. He was talking about he met a rubber fabricator, and the rubber fabricator had knives in a pot full of water, and he said, "Why have you got the knives in the water?" And he said, "Well, you try and cut rubber with a dry knife." So rubber in a dry environment provides very effective protection against glass and the like. That's why you get more punches in the rain, because it effectively acts like a lubricant. So yeah, I haven't noticed it. I mean, if you're operating an e-bike at the limit of its range, would I go back to the Marathon Supreme? Okay, well, if you want to maximize the range, the lighter tires with fast. If you look on rollingresistance.com, the lighter tires with faster. Lightweight per se isn't the important thing. What matters is rolling resistance. If you want the maximum range, then maybe like a tire like the Schwalbe all-round with the Addix compound. That would be about half the weight. This one weighs almost a kilogram. This one weighs 750 grams. But yeah, like when I was, I did get higher, lower battery use with the lower rolling resistance tires. But unless you're running at the absolute limit of your e-bike's capability, which you probably shouldn't be, if you are, you need to maybe, get an e-bike with a bigger battery. And yeah, this would be the tire I would recommend. The Schwalbe Marathon E Plus, not to be confused with the Schwalbe Energiser Plus. That would be, and it's not even the highest rolling resistance. Maybe do what I've done is have like an Energiser Plus in the front and an E Plus on the back. And the Energiser Plus has lower rolling resistance, according to rollingresistance.com. And it's also, it's easy to get on and off the E Plus. When I first put it on, and I only put it on, I never got a puncher. So that when I first put it on, it was hell to get on. But yeah, that's the lowest rolling. That's the highest puncher resistance of any tire. Okay, so now we'll go for a ride. Check this out. Here we are in Auckland, Point Erin Pools, on my way home. This is one of the most affluent areas in New Zealand.